What's up, Strength and Health community? In this week's video training tip, we're going to look at the concept of training the sides, as well as two or three exercises that you can use to accomplish this task. Now, the concept of training the sides is something that doesn't really get talked about nowadays. It's something that I've seen as I've read a lot of books from the founding fathers of the physical culture movement, back around the early 1900s, late 1800s, kind of the turn of the century, physical culturists or old-time strongman. They reference training the sides extensively in their writings. All right, so when they refer to the sides, they're basically talking about everything from the armpits down to the hips. So we're talking about the internal and external oblique muscles. We're talking about the serratus and the lats, kind of all these muscles that are responsible for lateral flexion of the spine or stabilizing the body when we rotate into a hip hinge, like you would do for some of the old-time movements like the bent press or movements of that nature, right? So I noticed in Alan Calvert's book and many of the others that I've looked at, there's entire chapters devoted to training the sides. So when I looked at some of Sid Klein's programs, like in his Super Physique, a side movement exercise was included in the first, I think, 5 on the list. Hackenschmidt showed a lot of side bending type and twisting type movements. And nowadays, oftentimes when people talk about the obliques, especially in the physique sports, they avoid training the obliques. They avoid twisting and bending movements because they think the obliques are going to build up and kind of look thick and blocky. And I noticed that even with some of the quote-unquote silver era bodybuilders, the ones from like the 40s to the 50s, people like Reg Park, people like Steve Reeves, people like Bill Pearl, they not only incorporated a lot of side bending type of movements, but they also incorporated a lot of broomstick and barbell twisting exercises. And one of the things that you notice is they all had very tiny, thin waists. All right, they had much better V taper. Now, a lot of it was to do with the width of the shoulders and building up the lats, but they had really small, concave abdomens, really small waists compared to the bodybuilders of today and the physique specialists of today who avoid training those types of movements or seriously downplay them in their training. From an athletic standpoint, having strong obliques and strong sides is really important, especially if you're in a contact or combative sport. If you're in a sport like wrestling or grappling that involves a lot of rotation and twisting your body into weird positions, having strong obliques and serratus and side muscles is very important. If you're in football, you think about